Hey guys, I have managed to get here. Don't ask me how. I'm not really sure myself. I see that I have music on. I like to have music on while I'm here at the bar getting ready. And they put on a lot of commercials, even on the break, just doing the radio. So I tend to go with YouTube. Some of the videos I pick up from my choice. And try not to let anybody actually on the air hear that because apparently that's not supposed to happen. It's, I don't know. They frown on that. So, Hippies Unite, guys, where have you been? I've been up here doing this for almost 3 years in the middle of this stint at Wicked Lady Hippies, and we're at my bar, so I'm at home. Don't need a freaking Uber. Background, let's see. Uh, Army veteran, published author, complete nut all the way around, retired, doesn't tell. I love this medium, and I stated a few years ago, I'm doing one of those, I'm having a bad hair day, sorry guys. I wanted to do these, I thought they were so cool a few years back. Still do. Thought I had a cool gimmick because I have my own bar at home. We have our 8th bar. We had to redo the entire bottom floor because my husband went to get what he thought was a very small bar, and it wasn't. It was in a $7 million home. It's a Remington. It seats at least 7 or 8 if you push it. So we bought furniture to go up against walls, so everything was cool with that. Can't get anybody to go on the air. Can't get relatives, and I don't really have relatives. I have a son, I have grandson and granddaughter. Grandson's also Army vet. Son is like me when he did not enlist. And that he was different, but he does serve civilly. He and his wife. And I always live next to a base. So I'm an exit for my grandson and my son and granddaughter and my daughter-in-law. And I'm right at the gate to the base here. It's more important to me. I don't know. I know they renamed these things. I don't think they asked the rest of us if we really wanted to do that, but okay. I'm easy. I'm a hippie. I wanted to say, guys, when we were in our 20s, yeah, it was easier to get drunk, screw around, and go to work on 3 hours sleep and then come home and go to your second job. A little bit. I didn't start sleeping until 1987, but sleep is overrated. I don't drop videos unless I'm asked. What you see is what you get. Bill Maher, I love you, guy. Love you. I've been watching you forever. Johnny Carson, love you. He's got a bar too, and I thought, okay, great. He's, I just love him to death, and everybody talks to him. He's so funny. And spot on. It's just funny and he's great. And I like Joe Rogan. Hey, Joe, his radio rates are, that was a terrible time. Been watching your since then. Loved it when you put the super chair together. This is a great episode. Hated what happened though. But you're still hanging in there and you are still slugging that ball out of the park, babies. So I started watching, Shay Shay and all them. And actually caught I call him Donnie, President Trump. I think he's funny as hell. If you can call Kid Rock loud, Donnie works for me. It's like Alligator Alley, they call that shit down there. They were building. Love Florida. And I loved it. I love all of it, but I thought it was funny. They ended up calling it Gator Gitmo. Don't take that. That's my mind. So I was hoping with videos could get together without me dropping them. So the only thing I can think of, since I'm back, I had a severe accident. I got a lot of metal in my leg, in particular, an ankle, and I definitely set off airport shit. I parked it, and there's lights flashing, and horns honking, and somebody on a telegraph. It's just me. So it's like that. So I decided, and I got a husband that really is a very good guy. He always backs me up. So he bought me a system and I like my golden mic. I think that's great. I think sometimes you guys are hearing me with a bit of an echo. So I never can quite get it. And it's hard for me to watch these and do these because I'm looking at myself. I do this with you. And then I have to get on my TV with this just to see. I'm old. To see if it needs editing. And generally, what you see is what you get. There's one on there, you can't see me, it's about that dark. Looks like a real moon. I'm trying to light it up while I'm up here. So again, I'm trying to get the Hippies, this is my second channel, after the accident had gone for about a year, and it just didn't work right for me when I came back. So I switched to a different channel, And it's about the same. It's just Lady Hippy at the bar. It just happened to be my damn bar. Yeah, Army veteran shows up every once in a while. What can I say? We were the first battalion or companies, 5 companies of women who trained with the men. They had disbanded WAC Corps, I think, while we were still in the air, because we landed at Fort Jackson, and we had airborne, 82nd Airborne for drill sergeant. So that was fun. They did give us a chance, and they said, because all of us were WACs, we thought. I'd been on delayed entry. I had to get parents to sign so I could go and all that. And I had rank. Don't do that. They call you trainee. You don't even have $1 for a private. I had 3. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, Cook County. And even back then days, we had paper. So the drill sergeant's looking through paper. We've all been up for 4 days. We're carrying shit in suitcases because we had to bring shoes if you were a WAC. You used your own tennis shoes. You didn't get army boots. Now they got us in uniform. They're going to give us guns. And holy shit, man, but we're not backing down. I don't want this. I'm not going home saying, nah, I turned pussy. So, no. So we went with that. We did good. We have women fighter pilots that I just absolutely adore. I like watching them put that bitch horizontal and landed on that carrier. I mean, that is so freaking awesome. And there's one, I know there's at least one female pilot that even the guys say she's just amazing. And they are, all of them are, of course. But in my day, when I went in, again, you could be a secretary, you could be a nurse. I chose to train in both, which apparently was unusual. And so I ended up running right through things and broke a leg just as I was completing the course, taking out machine gun nests. So I had that kind of career from the get-go. Then I had a son. He was born in Hamburg, Germany. He swears he's from San Antonio. I took him back 6 times. I mean, like that. I'd go to D.C. or whatever job I was at in a different state, literally a different city, which was okay when he was 2. But when he got to be 8, 9 years old, he wanted something. And then we got custody of my stepdaughter. I'm adopted. My husband's sister found us. In the Parade magazine was found when the birth mother got ill with brain tumor. They found this Parade magazine article that we were on the front page, and the names and where we were, and big arrow pointing. So I get a call from my brother, and then followed by my younger sister. My brother was also adopted, but my sister was my sister, and she was very dark. And I'm, as you can see, I'm fully British. She's Native American. So somebody was screwing around somewhere. I don't know. We first met the people. I had traveled and ended up, I used to fly everywhere and all that. I ended up driving a bus because I couldn't get a plane out for like 2 days or something. And I said, okay, fine. And I grabbed the, what they called an express bus. Never been on it. I used buses a lot. I used to never have a car because it was in a big city. What are you going to do? Pay a lot of money and drive the car? No. They dropped me off right in front of places where I worked, where I lived. And so I used mass transit. Oh, I was so angry when I got there. This pimply-faced little boy said, I said, I've been looking for my luggage and I can't find my luggage. And they said, to talk to you. And he said, your luggage ain't my problem, lady. And I was young. That took Friday almost all my life. And Army veteran and all the above. And that boy had the audacity to say that to me. And I asked him, I pulled him over at the counter and I had him by the collar and tie. And I'm pulling the other end of the tie. He's forced up against the counter. He might have been 18, I don't know. I was so angry. And I was like, when does it become your effing problem? And he's like, yes, ma'am. I let him go and he fell out, scrambling. I'm not laughing. I'm thinking, you don't tell a customer that's not your problem. It's your problem. You can tell me what happened or you'll find out and give me a call, but you don't tell me it's not your problem. So that was how I met the adopted family. I mean, the biological family. They were there looking for me. scared the piss out of three of the daughters, the half brother. But they loved telling the story. The guy came back like 4 minutes later and said, "I've got your luggage." And they loved that. They thought that was great. But that was the start of finding the biological family. Apparently, I didn't fit in. Nobody, mainly the women stayed home, and the biological family. We had been missing for a long time. I was 30 at that point. And at first, you thought they were okay, and they liked you, and they wanted you to move to Georgia. And I was used to moving around, and I thought it'd be nice to have a family, especially for my son, raising him alone. And so I had a job that would start when I came back, because I'd come over here. I'm in Georgia. I'm in Augusta now. This is below Warner Robins, below Macon. And nothing but dirt roads. They were red, and they all said Martin Luther King. All of them. Or Peachtree. Peachtree was maybe popular more than Southern. But that's the two names they used. And you could be in South Carolina and think you was just on the back road in Warner Robins. You don't love the state, man. But my husband tells me, I took him to Texas after meeting everybody. Had a little problem with the fact, like I said, none of the women weren't there. I did. I ran divisions and so forth. I told generals what to do. So I wasn't one of those, you couldn't tell me jack shit. If you didn't fly my way, then you needed to get the hell out of my way. And I would pull you, push you, beat you out of my way if you were a jackass. They were. They came after my kid. I had no idea any of that was going to happen. A day and a half later, I was in San Antonio. I know how to move. Touching my son. And so the brother-in-law and I had kind of hooked up. He was my younger half-brother's wife who had found us. That was her brother. So technically, he was biologically a brother-in-law. So I took him to San Antonio, and we worked with the state both of us different jobs. He's an ace mechanic, and he was running the fleet out there. And I ran 3 hospitals, nursing science division there at Texas Hill Science Center. And so we were having a great time. After about 4 years, he caught, I forget what type of illness it was, but it nearly killed him. I had to actually carry him in, man down, carry him into the hospital. You can't get him to come out when it wasn't the VA. So they told me I couldn't stay because I wasn't married yet. I wasn't even engaged. I just kept saying, "You guys are kidding." Good. And that pissed me off. So I went back out to my car, got my laptop, came out, backed up. I didn't have any more problems with that. You can't stay shit. It really is what you look like, fellas. It really is. You carry yourself with confidence, you probably go anywhere. Back to what I was trying to tell y'all. This is something that we could all get together on. And I forgot to put into live chat, of course. I'm doing this only 3 days a week, so 7 days a week, because that accident really messed me up, and I just can't do it physically or something, or maybe it's just old age for an everyday thing. If I miss a day, I try to jump in on a weekend. It's not like I have a lot of fans on this channel. It's not like I have a family, like I said. That's how you got the background of the family, because the only family I have left are on the husband's side, and I've known them 30 plus years. And they still don't like me. I still don't like them. They still haven't been out of Georgia. They might have worked at the grocery store at the Piggly Wiggly when they were younger or part-time. I don't think but a couple of finished eighth grade. I'm not kidding, you can't make this shit up. And so they just disliked me, period. But they didn't tell me that. They would tell me, they would tell other people behind my back. And, and I, like I said, I had already left the one time. And I came back because my husband's daughter, just a mess here, he would get custody if he came back to Georgia. Of course, we came back. She had run away. She was 13. And so she could pick and choose. And her mother said, "I won't fight you, but I can't have her living in Texas." And I could understand that, being a single mom myself. And my son was 14. They were a year and a half, well, a little over a year apart. Get down, my cat's photo bombing. If you see him, again, it's Fast Walker. he likes to know what's in my drink, and I have to keep him putting a paw in it, and then he licks his paw. Cheers. I like these little whiskey bottles. My husband gets me this something. It's a fireball, whiskey fireball, and I like the little airplane bottles out of the plastic. So I don't drink a lot, but I am at the bar, and I do drink when I'm on the air. I like my whiskey on the rocks. And today, being a long day, that's why I'm out late, added a little juice in there just to help me out, because I decided I'd have 2 bottles. That's a flight to Germany for me. I have 2. That's it. A kid with me, and a rifle here somewhere. I'm still active duty. I had my kid alone, and I had to hire people to care for him. Uh, you know, you come up with a way to speak German quick. I mean, it's just, and I lived off base, which is you just couldn't get in. There was such a list. I don't know why, but so I ended up in a farm area just outside of Carlsbad. So I would cut through the dark forest where they had, you could stop, you did calisthenics and high bars. I was a gymnast anyway. And I loved that. The only thing I didn't like was when I had to get the second job. And I'm coming through there at night, pushing a preambulator, what we call a buggy. There's a big difference between them. There really is. It doesn't look it, but there is. And through snow and 20 below, you know your kid's okay. It's in plastic and he's all it up. But still, it was rough. It was rough. Yes, it was. But I loved every second of it. I was told I had to go to Korea, and you can't take anybody with you when you go to Korea. And I'm a young mom. And they wanted me to sign custody of him over to the ex-mother-in-law. I'm like, yeah, right. So, of course, I had to adapt what I was going to do for the rest of my life, because I couldn't do that. As an adoptee myself, I wasn't going to. If you sign your child over to someone, how do you get it back? They don't want to undo it. Have you got money for an attorney? That's because this ex-mother-in-law of mine, she worked for 2 lieutenant governors, or well, the same one, 2 terms, and was installed on a high-paying position in D.C. And I'm like, like that shit. We ended up friends. I ended up flying out there, and I was at work again the next day, and with security clearances, top of the line, like I always have been. So stayed there for several years. I enjoyed that, but Texas kept calling. So back to Texas, So I've been there like 6, 7 times. I just keep going back. And my husband bought a big, like a Wonder Lodge, because it's difficult for me to travel with these injuries, and they're just there. That's about the best they're going to get. And so he did this, and he knew I wanted to go home. And San Antonio's always been home to me too, instead of Chicago. All my family's gone. Immediate family, biological family, they're all gone. Even the half brothers, they're gone. A lot of my husband's brothers and sisters who were family related through the half brothers, they're gone. Everybody, just about. My husband has 2 brothers and a sister left, and we worry every day about them. My husband's 70, and of course they're older, in their 70s. My brother and sister both died much younger than that. They never made it to the end of 68. But I mean, they both drank too much, and they both passed from cirrhosis of the liver. So people watch me and say, "Are you drinking a lot?" So I pointed out, used to have it in a shot glass with a little piece of ice. And they thought I was taking these like 15 shots, but so I changed over to what I found out that I was right on, to my Scottish Clans tumblers that I got. And that was after my son had me take a DNA test, because they've been saying to me for like 30 years I was Native American, and I was going And so my son got me the DNA test, and I took it. And of course, I was right. It's a pity I couldn't have got my sister to take it, because I'll bet she was Native American. Totally 2 different fathers there. We looked completely different color, hair, eyes. She was very dark. My dad used to call her a little dago. But he was World War II, or it was a different time. We did it because it pissed her off, though. And we would laugh because she got pissed off. I mean, all her life. Well, as long as I went back and forth there. And they were in their 50s when they adopted us, which is why we were on Brave Magazine. to wrap that up. Now, I've been seeing some stuff. I'm like, I don't know what the hell. I got Cat Williams is right with President Trump. He don't give a fuck. You do not know what that man do. He gonna do 300 things, and he don't care. He will find out tomorrow what it really happened. I told you, Fast Walker would get up here. He does this every time. They can just can't. They go where they want, and he loves to do that. He knows. I know people don't think animals are that smart, but they are. They're incredibly smart. So I wanted to do this thing about Hippies Unite. You know, back in the day, and we all played Nintendo, and 15 people brought TVs and beer and all that. I used to have tug parties. Best one I ever had. The guys found those Velcro towels. We're selling them back. I mean, it was a grand time in the 70s days. Well, in the 90s. So far, we really haven't slowed down. I've had a lot of people say, you guys don't act like you're in your 60s, with my husband being 70. And I was like, how do you act? I'm not good at this. If I could act, I would do this. They will not come on the air. They do not want to be mentioned by name. Every once in a while, if I have a mechanical problem, whatever it is, with my sets, my husband will dash in behind the scenes and try to fix it. Actually, he always fixes it. I am a user. I don't do the rest of the stuff. I just turn it on and go, all right, let's do this. What's the hell's wrong here? And lately I've been having trouble with my cameras. Well, I use tablets to broadcast, and I have like 4 because I have that much room at the bar. You never know, you might get some people, and I doubt it. But again, I'm not Bill Maher. And I always said I would mention Charlie Kirk whenever I was on air. I don't think he should ever be forgotten. When I saw it, I said it was Shades of JFK. I didn't know he had a wife, podcast, kids. Didn't know any of that. Just knew he was the boy on campus that said "Prove me wrong." It was so great. He had his head. That was it. And he was answering. I also love Professor Victor Davis Hanson on the Daily Signal, and in his own words. And I believe, he's got his own website, but I can't think of it offhand now. It's a great time. In any event, you should check him out. These people are fantastic. The charmer's gone. I don't know who he threatened to be killed like he was publicly over the heads of thousands in front of millions. But it smacked JFK to me, and I did not, and still do not know why I said that. They're pretty serious when the vice president is one of your pallbearers. That's an honor that can't be. You just can't forget that. And so I like to remind everyone about him to keep his memory a blessing. I love that from the Israelis. And no, they're not just Jews. There's 12 tribes, Benjamins, Levites. Look it up. It's at probably Google. They'll tell you. It's not just Jews. Yes, Israel did divide. There was Judah. It was called Judah. I think they might have been Levites and Jewish tribe only. I don't know. I'd have to look it up again. But for heaven's sakes, if you want to know, ask me. I'll find out. Unlike Bill Maher, I try not to get my husband in the picture when he looks like that. What are you doing? That's the only one I got right now. Okay, well, you'll have to show me. I'm online. That's the same thing you. Okay, but that's what it is. I know. It's not in here. It's in the bedroom?